What rules were put in place because of you? As a kindergartner, I once fell asleep in the bus. When I woke up, the bus was in the garage and I had to yell to get someone to get me out. So to this day, every bus driver in my school district needs to walk to the back of the bus and check every seat before they park the bus. Seems like a good rule to have.
My older brother got a curfew enforced at Boy Scout camp when one of the leaders noticed him walking around the area in the daytime with his eyes closed, counting steps. He may have just been practicing being blind, but the adults assumed he was figuring out how to get around at night without lights so he could get into some kind of mischief. Which, knowing my brother, was also possible. P.S. If you're one of those people saying, but, you're not thinking like an 11-year-old.
Mine are one, but when I was in elementary school we had one of those bridge building challenges using toothpicks and hot glue. My partner and I realized if we just coated the entire thing with a thick-ass layer of hot glue it would make our bridge strong as hell. So we used like a full pack of hot glue sticks, like 20 of them. It was more glue than toothpicks. So after that they limited the number of glue sticks you could use.
I mean, technically you demonstrated that when you combine materials together they often become stronger than they would have been apart. Like when you put a steel rod inside of concrete. In history class in high school, there was about 10 of us really close friends. We would take every opportunity to make your mom's jokes. A couple months into class the teacher made us sign a treaty, promising to stop making fun of each other's moms. We signed it, and started making fun of each other's dads.
You can no longer skip to the end of training videos at Wendy's. I completed about 10 hours of this training when it was implemented, after I'd already been working there a year, in about 45 minutes, open, skip, 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 do test, rinse and repeat. I was quite proud of my estimated time 45 minutes, time to completion 2 minutes. My store, which is a franchise location, got a call from corporate like an hour later. I didn't have to redo any of it though. I got our HR box taken away at work because the HR lady threatened not to pay us if we missed a clock in or clock out. In our defense, the phones didn't always work and the clock in system was really unreliable, and I printed out the law stating that was illegal, highlighted it, and put it in her box when no one was around. She threw an unholy fit and tried to figure out who put it in her box. And from then on everything had to be handed in personally, lol.
The company I work for, the videos are skippable. I always skip them when doing some stupid refresher training or whatever. Nobody seems to notice. I got the Ryan Steakhouse buffets in Louisville, Kentucky to put baby changing stations in the men's bathrooms back in the 90s. It's so stupid that baby changing stations in men's bathrooms aren't more common. The only options you end up with are to change your baby on the floor or countertop or go into the women's restroom, and hope nobody freaks out. She sounds like the worst kind of HR person, honestly. Like she should darn well know that's illegal. Oh, she's a grade A cunt. I'm so thankful that I will be leaving in a few weeks. At a ballpark I worked concessions at, they had an all-you-can-eat promo day where tickets were more expensive than usual, but concessions around the stadium were free, excluding alcohol. So I worked that day and of course it was chaos, but when the lines started dying down later in the game they started sending some of the hourly employees home, myself included. But of course, I didn't go home. After I clocked out, I stayed in the stadium and got some cheeseburgers and Philly steak and soda and found an empty seat in the crowd for the last few innings. Next year, same promo, but new rule for staff: if you get sent home early, you have to actually leave the stadium.
Update: I tracked down what school he's currently working at, called to find out when he'd get a free moment, and they said he makes time to speak to parents and students after school at 3:15. Going to wait in the office until he's free. Wish me luck. Hopefully he remembers me. Update number 2. I met with him today. He didn't have time to speak to me directly after school went out, but I did wait until he had time a couple hours later. He remembered me very clearly, mentioned that he attended both mine and my baby sister's high school graduation. He was our elementary school principal, so it's sweet to know he went out of his way to keep up with all of his students. He then offered to buy me a hat. I forgot, but he confiscated one of my hats because I was wearing it in class, lol. I'm glad everyone encouraged me to reach out. It took me a while for this update because I didn't think I would be so moved by him remembering me. I don't think it was a rule, but it was kind of an unspoken thing. I was the only brown kid in my school and would act out for attention/acceptance, and my classmates would get a huge laugh out of it, but I would be sent to the principal's office every day. I think my principal knew I wasn't a bad kid just looking for attention. He moved a permanent desk into his office for me, and every day when I got sent down I would sit there. Had my name on it and everything. By the end of that school year I would pack snacks for both of us. LOL. Haven't thought about that principal in a while, but I hope he is well and was patient with other kids as he was with me.
In middle school I would use Sharpies to tattoo myself. Other kids thought it was cool, so I started charging $1 per drawing wherever they wanted. Principal found out, and after I wouldn't stop, she put a ban on Sharpies for the entire school. Even the teachers couldn't bring them in. I'm a tattoo artist now. I bet you did a ton of that cool S-letter thing that every middle schooler is obsessed with drawing. It's been made easier because you can be logged into 4 Discord accounts at once now on the desktop version, and then there's a little menu to swap between them. My elementary school was located in the center of the neighborhood, and my 5th grade class was the first to get outdoor trailers for classrooms. We'd ask for bathroom passes and then walk home. Next year they built a fence around the school. This is a keep it to yourself issue. You can't let everyone know that a get out of school free trick, because someone will notice if everyone is doing it.
Golf users can no longer return an unlimited number of balls for tokens. When I was maybe 12-ish there was a kids' outdoor play area. Go-karts, batting cages, and indoor was something like a Chuck E. Cheese, token-based games, etc. You could get a wristband for maybe $15 and it'd get you unlimited rides, mini-golf, and some other activities. Everything else cost tokens. When you finished golfing you'd get 2 tokens for bringing your ball back. Unlimited golf, 50 cents worth of play value inside. So my friends and I would go there, speed run 2 golf games and give the balls back. $1 to our pockets. Later on we started just fishing balls out of the water hazards and turning them in. Subtly at first and then in bulk later. The guys working there didn't care or actively laughed at it, so we'd have a few hundred tokens. Then we started selling them 5 for $1. We stopped buying the unlimited bands. I'd bike there and earn $25 in a couple of hours. Management eventually caught on and altered the token for ball exchange.
Male students are not allowed to wear hair accessories. We had the rule about hair not touching collars, couldn't be past eyebrows, or over the ears. I grew my hair out and just put it up in headbands. After receiving multiple detentions and fighting them and winning, the next year, they made the rule. Although you could theoretically use just gel to form your hair into a beehive. Or turn it into a bun. Or braid it from the nape of your neck up to your forehead and then back down the center. So many choices.
Local amusement park added a "no blindfolds on roller coasters" rule because of me. When I was in middle school, my friend and I thought it would enhance the overall experience if we blindfolded ourselves on the biggest roller coaster at a local amusement park. We got one of those pictures they take on the ride, and there we are, blindfolded in the middle of a tunnel, having the time of our lives. Looking back, we easily could have strangled ourselves or worse because we literally just used scarves tied around our heads. Next year we went back to the same roller coaster and they had added a "no blindfolds or loose accessories" to the list of rules before the ride. I put a croissant in one of those hotel toasters. It soon became engulfed in flames and needed extinguishing. Next day at breakfast they made a sign that said, "If you'd like your croissant toasted, please ask a member of staff. If it's the kind of toaster I'm thinking of, the croissant gets stuck when it reaches the back and the belt continues to move. Stuck soft bread catches on fire quickly in the back of the toaster, etc." I worked at a restaurant that uses these toasters. Our croissants were always very soft and flaky. We would unstick them with our long bread knives.
No more than 4 margaritas per person on dollar margarita beer a night in college. Some friends and I used to go to a Mexican restaurant every Thursday, and often on Saturdays for $1 margaritas. As a group, we would go through a lot, then they put the rule in, then they changed it to $2 margaritas, $1 draft beers.